Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Concerning accusations tonight against 3 people here in Eastern Kentucky, police say they kidnapped a teen. Here's who police arrested. They found the girl locked in the back of a U-Haul in Cincinnati. Investigators believe she might be the victim of human trafficking. WYMT's Justin Case is digging deeper into the case and joins us now live from Knox County. Justin.
Steve, there are 3 people charged in this case. 2 of them are being held right behind me here at the Knox County jail. One other is going to be extradited back to Kentucky and will be held here at the jail as well. But let me give you some context here. So this all started late Saturday night. A 16-year-old girl was reported missing. Then about 24 hours later, police in Cincinnati got a tip that a girl might be locked in the back of a U-Haul in Cincinnati. Now, police responded to that tip, and that's where they found that girl, along with the 3 people who are now charged in the case. And those 3 people are Michael Nason, Tiffany Cheek, Carl Hickman of Corbin. Officials say Tiffany Cheek lured the young teen away from her home under false pretenses, claiming to be a guardian. Now, the missing teen was then locked in the back of a U-Haul where deputies say 34-year-old Michael Nason engaged in sexual activity with her.
A lot of cases like this, they're hard to work. There's a lot involved in it, but on it like this case here, Deputy Luttrell, he's got a good, strong case. It's a very good case.
Steve, there's still a lot we don't know about this case. Deputies are continuing their investigation, but we are told that deputies, once they learned where the girl was in Cincinnati, actually drove up to get her. They said they learned pretty quickly how serious the case was shortly after that. Now, the charges in this case do range, a variety of different charges, but some of the most serious charges we're seeing right now in this case involve human trafficking, kidnapping, and rape. We're going to have much more in this story coming up tonight at 11, including I'm actually going to walk over to the jail now and see if I can request an interview from any of the 2 people being held here. Steve?
All right, Justin, thank you. A crash in Martin County killed a well-known coach this morning. Since 2013, Tim Rice has coached the girls basketball team at Sheldon Clark High School and worked as an in-school suspension teacher. The crash happened on New Route 3. Officials believe Rice hit the back end of a cement truck with his SUV. WYMT's Marianne Fletcher talked with some of his players about the man they all grew to love.
A good coach can change a game. A great coach can change a life.
Like, they've watched him coach, but he meant more than a coach. He was a friend, he was a companion, he was a good person.
Sheldon Clark High School senior Mackenzie Preston says Tim Rice was more than a coach.
Every day, he really did push us. He just wanted the best for us.
Rice died Tuesday morning in a crash involving a cement truck on New Route 3.
Off the court, he's somebody you could go talk to, tell your problems to.
Basketball player Laken Porter says she did not want to believe the heartbreaking news.
Like, something like this, happened, and you wouldn't think that it could happen.
The man she and her teammates looked up to, gone.
And he always didn't show his emotions very much, but we all knew that he loved us very much and that he wanted the best for us.
And while he will never be there for a pat on the back,
you never realize how you take life for granted until it's taken away.
Or a high five.
And without him, our team wouldn't have made it as far as we did.
His life, his coaching left a lasting impact.
We'd like to go out on a good note.
In Martin County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
The driver of the cement truck was not injured. Police do not believe alcohol or drugs were involved. Tonight, we've learned investigators filed charges against a man in connection with a Clay County deadly crash. State police charged Alfred Francis with DUI. On August 8th, they say he crashed into J.D. Hacker's car, killing Hacker. At the scene, a state trooper said Francis appeared to be extremely under the influence and told them he smoked marijuana prior to driving. Court officials tell us a court date was delayed because Francis is still in the hospital. Days of heartbreak in Harlan County. Today we are learning more about the 2 people who were severely burned in a Harlan County house fire yesterday and their 2 children who died in the fire. WYMT's Connor James talked with a responding officer who is also a member of the family and has more on what the community is doing to rally behind this family.
We often avoid the word tragic, not to diminish the significance of it.
You know, their family's really worried for them, that's for sure.
But tragedy looms in the air here in Tots and across Harlan County.
Yesterday hit home. One of the burn victims in this case is a family member of mine. 2
young children no longer around. Just like many here, there's a heaviness on Detective William J. Howard's heart. Dennis Chad Howard is his cousin.
I spoke with him on scene. He has a long road ahead of him.
Detective Howard comforted him as he was prepped to be taken to a burn unit.
You know, it's difficult, you know, for his family, his parents. They're both having a hard struggle with it. He sustained some very serious injuries.
Dennis Chad Howard's wife, Allison Howard, also being treated for just as severe burns. It's a moment when Detective Howard was not just acting as a first responder, but family.
You know, going there, you know, we didn't know for sure who it is. We put our lives on the line every day and work hard, family or not.
But within this heartbreak, this tragedy, there is hope. Multiple fundraisers set to help less than a day after, one even raising more than $5,000 in 17 hours.
Prayers are requested. Chad and Allison both, they got some difficult days ahead of them. They're in very serious condition.
As a community takes the pain of loss and turns it into something more powerful, a helping hand. In Harlan County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
As we continue to learn more about the condition of the Howards, we will update that on our website along with the fundraising efforts. The search is on for an escaped inmate out of Knox County. You should keep an eye out for this man, Christopher Denham. Deputies say Denham ran off this morning while on work release. He was last seen near Flat Lick Elementary. His charges include not paying fines, not showing up to court, and giving officers a fake name.
And we continue to see those blues and sunny skies outside right now. You'll notice that here on our Whitesburg cam where we're still seeing those beautiful conditions. Good news is that continues a little bit into those evening hours. Satellite and radar shows those clouds already starting to increase ahead of the cold front that'll be moving in a little bit later. You'll see those temperatures into the lower 80s. Definitely get out and enjoy it while you can. We cool down a little bit tomorrow. We get near average as we head into the rest of the work week. I'll have that full forecast for you guys coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Paige. Day 2 of the Prescription Drug Abuse and Heroin Summit is coming to a close. WYMT's Will Puckett attended a handful of afternoon sessions, including one covering infectious diseases, and has more live from the summit in Atlanta. Will?
Steve, it was a really interesting conversation held about infectious diseases. It was a panel of 3 people spanning from Vermont, a stop in Knoxville, all the way out to San Francisco. But throughout the entire conversation, it all kept coming back to one common theme: helping those in our community who need it most. Since the rise of the opioid epidemic, there has been a new topic to come about: the spread of diseases.
There's this confluence of 3 things. One is the HIV rates, hepatitis C rates, and then the opioid epidemic.
Wayne Smith is the director of the Samaritan Ministry in Knoxville.
There are lots of counties in Kentucky and Tennessee that just mirror that same kind of demographic.
Smith is talking about an outbreak of HIV in Scott County, Indiana in 2015.
Open to loving on people, and regardless of who they are and where they come from, what their station is, so it was a natural fit for our church in some ways.
That is just part of the key to reducing the spread of diseases Smith and his faith-based approach has found, extending an olive branch.
It all boils down to science. We have to quit the moral messaging and the putting people down and categorizing people.
And following the proof that sometimes methods that some find controversial work, even if it is against the norm.
Jesus taught that we're supposed to love each other and love our community, love our neighbors. So how do we do that? You know, how do we make that happen in our community? Well, we got to talk to people that aren't like us, to love people regardless of what's going on in their lives.
And understanding that there's a person there worth saving, no matter the method. A person there worth saving. The controversial topic that was brought up for all three people on the panel was needle exchanges. And as you heard Smith saying there is science that needs to be followed behind there. Smith argues that science proves that needle exchanges do work in communities that have drug problems, much like we see in our own community of Eastern Kentucky. Steve, there were a ton of conversations held here today. That was just one of the many. Of course, this is all leading up to tomorrow when President Trump will be in town. We hope to carry that speech live online. For now, live in Atlanta, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Will, thank you very much. President Trump is expected to speak at the summit tomorrow around 1 p.m. We do hope to stream that live on Facebook and WYMT.com. A Pike County man says he's been collecting his dead father's Social Security checks for nearly a decade. In his plea agreement, William Cummins admitted to not reporting the death of his father and changing the direct deposit information for his dad's Social Security account. Between 2008 and 2018, police say Cummins collected about $115,000. He's been ordered to give that money back. Cummins will be sentenced on August 2nd. He faces up to 10 years in prison. A video posted on Facebook by a daycare worker has resulted in criminal charges. Police in Wayne County arrested 2 workers from Wendy's Wonderland Daycare. One worker is accused of taunting a 2-year-old, the other recording it instead of reporting it. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the allegations.
This all started when a mother shared a video on Facebook that she says was posted on Facebook by a daycare worker that she says shows her 2-year-old daughter being taunted.
I think it's a bunch of nonsense.
Dropping off her 13-month-old son at Wendy's Wonderland, Samantha Daniels says she has no worries of the workers there. 2 of them are on leave after police say one taunted a scared 2-year-old with a doll and another recorded it. And that's the video police say Tasha Cox posted on Facebook of Diana Willett allegedly backing the little girl under a table and then taunting her with the doll. Both were arrested but have since been released on bond. The daycare remains open and its owner is defending the women, saying they were using a new technique on an upset child. But the mother is outraged, sharing the video herself and saying, "I wonder how someone could be so mean to her." The parents we spoke with at the daycare say Wendy's Wonderland is a wonderful place for kids.
They take care of my children and my child 100%. I mean, Miss Kuntz and Diane both, they have been there and interacted with my child with no issues here at the daycare and off from the daycare site.
According to the arrest warrant, the daycare operators had been made aware of the child's fear of dolls and small animals when she started attending there. In Wayne County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Willett is charged with a felony of criminal abuse first degree. Cox with a misdemeanor of failure to report child neglect or abuse.
And it may look like a nice day outside, but scattered rain chances return quickly as we head into the next couple of days and making for a soggy Thursday. I'll have that full forecast coming up for you guys in just a few short minutes.
But first, she's helping shape lives in Harlan County and Eastern Kentucky. Next, you'll hear from the 2019 East Kentucky Leadership Award recipient for Public Individual.